Look, a 3-0 lead with the clock ticking down, that's usually considered game over. You pack your bags, you celebrate the win, right? But in the 2019 Women's World Cup, a clash between Scotland and Argentina completely shredded the script. What seemed like a totally definitive result morphed into absolute chaos, defying logic right before our eyes. So in this explainer, we are going to trace exactly how this seemingly impossible result materialized. We'll break down the tactics, the turning points, and the sheer drama of it all. Let's dive in.
Commentators literally called it simply remarkable, declaring it one of the truly great games at the FIFA Women's World Cup. We're talking about a match that left the announcers completely speechless and the fans holding their breath. What started out as a super commanding victory for a World Cup debutante quickly turned into an absolute thriller of survival and ultimate heartbreak. To really understand how we arrived at this incredible moment in tournament history, we've got to trace the anatomy of the match right from the very first whistle.
Let's start with Act 1, the illusion of certainty. So heading into this match in Paris, the stakes were incredibly high. Both teams were desperately seeking points to stay alive and grab one of those best third-place spots for the knockout phase. And for the first hour, Scotland had total, unwavering control. They were painting an absolute masterpiece of dominance out there. Now, if we look at the pre-match tactical clash, Argentina's coach, Carlos Borrello, actually noted his squad wasn't quite as fit as Scotland and didn't have as many games under their belts. But they compensated with a really aggressive attacking six formation and this immense fighting spirit. On the flip side, Scotland brought that superior fitness. Knowing they lacked overall physical height, they opted to play a high defensive line to compress the field. It was a fascinating setup, really. Scotland's structured fitness going head-to-head with Argentina's aggressive willpower.
And initially, Scotland executed their game plan with surgical precision. First up, Kim Little pounces. The Argentine goalkeeper Correa makes a solid initial save, but Little is right there to tap in the rebound. Bam! Then we get this beautiful pinpoint delivery from Caroline Weir's corner that finds Jen Beattie, who just drives home a powerful second goal with a header. Finally, it's Aaron Cuthbert's moment. After a fingertip-saved header from Crichton actually hits the post, Cuthbert is perfectly positioned to absolutely smash in the rebound. 1, 2, 3. For Argentina, staring at a 3-0 deficit on the scoreboard, that mountain to climb felt absolutely insurmountable.
With a 3-0 lead, Scotland seemingly had, as they said, breathing space. Now, the dramatic irony here is incredibly heavy. At this exact moment, the Scottish team, their fans, and head coach Shelley Kerr were enjoying broad, confident smiles over on the sidelines. They fully believed they had just rubber-stamped their ticket to the last 16. They were looking at their favorable goal difference, feeling safely above the other bubble teams. The job in their minds was 100% definitively done.
Which brings us to Act 2, the Argentine awakening.
Listen, if there is one golden rule in sports, it is that you never, ever count out a team with nothing left to lose. Down 3-0, Argentina just refused to retreat. They refused to surrender. Tapping into this incredible never-say-die attitude, the comeback sparks to life in 2 rapid steps. Step 1. This perfect pass slices right through the Scottish defense, finding the substitute Menendez, who finishes it beautifully to open Argentina's account. And then, before Scotland can even catch their breath to regroup, Step 2 hits them. Florenza Bonsegundo unleashes a massive, ambitious effort that smashes right off the underside of the crossbar and bounces down over the line. Goal line technology isn't even needed here. In the blink of an eye, 2 rapid-fire goals completely change the complexion of the game. Suddenly, out of nowhere, it's 3-2.
-1. Thanks to that second strike, Scotland's goal difference plummeted right into the negatives. All of that comfortable breathing space, that entirely evaporated. You can practically see the mathematical panic setting in on the players' faces. Every single pass, every defensive clearance now carries the ultimate weight of tournament elimination, all while Argentina is surging forward with absolute belief.
And now Act 3, the climax and the technicality.
Okay, if you thought the pressure was high at 3-2, the final minutes of this match are arguably some of the most dramatic, heart-stopping, and controversial we've ever witnessed in this tournament. We're in the dying moments. Argentina is throwing absolutely everything into the heart of the Scottish penalty area. Then, absolute chaos. There's a clumsy challenge inside the box. Initially, the referee actually says play on. The Argentine players throw their arms up in unison, just desperately pleading for a penalty. The play stops, it goes to a VR review, the entire stadium is holding its breath as the screens are checked, and then comes the agonizing realization for Scotland. The decision is overturned. A penalty is awarded to Argentina with only moments left on the clock. It is the ultimate lifeline.
Segundo steps up to take the kick. Scotland's goalkeeper Lee Alexander dives, and oh my goodness, she makes an unbelievable sprawling block. The drama here is sky high. She literally makes the save of her career to preserve that 3-2 lead. The Scottish defenders rush in to clear it, celebrating like they've just survived the scare of a lifetime. But as we know in modern football, the on-field celebration is never the final word until the technology signs off. So the question is, will the save stand?
This is where we run into the cold analytical reality of the VAR rulebook. The goalkeeper positioning rule strictly states that the goalkeeper must keep at least 1 foot on the goal line when a penalty kick is taken. The VAR replay clearly shows that Alexander, in her sheer eagerness to make the save, took a slight step off her line just before the ball was struck. By the absolute letter of the law, it's an infringement. That magnificent save wiped out. The penalty must be retaken.
Redemption here for Argentina. Segundo is handed a miraculous second chance, and let me tell you, this time she does not miss. She fires the retaken penalty right into the net. 3-3. It is absolutely devastating for Scotland. The World Cup debutantes, who were up 3-0 just minutes ago, who were smiling over on the sidelines, are now suffering utterly broken hearts. The whistle blows, and an impossible comeback is complete.
Finally, our epilogue, the ripple effect.
The impact of this wildly chaotic draw didn't just stay on the pitch in Paris. Because of how interconnected the tournament structure is, nations like Nigeria, New Zealand, Cameroon, and Chile were sitting in their hotels or playing their own group games, watching the screen super intently. They were all vying for those exact same best third-place knockout spots. So Scotland's catastrophic collapse in that resulting 3-3 draw, it was literally the best possible news for them. It completely reshuffled the mathematical race for the last 16, keeping hopes alive for teams that had absolutely nothing to do with the game being played in Paris.
So, when a 3-0 lead completely disappears in the dying minutes on the world's biggest stage, how do we define it psychologically? Are we witnessing the miraculous, unstoppable spirit of an Argentine comeback? Or are we looking at a monumental, unforced collapse by Scotland under the brightest, most unforgiving lights? It is a truly fascinating question of perspective, pressure, and the beautiful game. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep analyzing, keep asking those big questions, and I'll catch you next time as we break down another incredible topic.